All right, today we are cracking open the official playbook for business partnerships. You know, whether you're teaming up with a lifelong friend or a brand new colleague, you're not just starting some cool new venture, you're actually stepping into a legal relationship that comes with a pre-written rule book. So, let's break down what's inside.
So, you've got this great idea, right? And you're thinking about teaming up with someone to make it happen. I mean, it's an exciting step, just full of incredible potential. But hold on. Before you get totally swept up in that big vision, you've got to ask yourself, do you really know the rules that are going to govern your team from day one?
Look, every great team, whether it's in sports or in business, needs a playbook. A business partnership is absolutely no different. And the good news? One already exists. We're going to walk through the legal framework that acts as your guide, making sure everyone is playing the same game by the exact same rules.
First things first, when does your partnership actually become official? You might think it's when you open that bank account or maybe when you make your first sale, but nope. The law has a much clearer and honestly a much earlier starting point.
And here it is, the first big rule you got to know. The game clock starts the second you and your partner agree. That's literally it. The moment you execute a contract, and yeah, that even includes a verbal one, a handshake, your partnership legally exists. Now, you can agree to a future start date, sure, but if you don't, the default is right now.
Okay, so the partnership exists. Now what? Well, it's built on what each person brings to the table. We're talking about putting some skin in the game. And this isn't just about being fair. It's the actual foundation of your entire venture. So what really counts as a contribution?
The most obvious one, right? Money, cold, hard cash, capital to get the business off the ground, pay the bills, and invest in growth. This is what we call a capitalist partner.
But hey, it's not always about the cash. A partner can also contribute property. And this could be, well, anything from office equipment and computers to a delivery van or even a piece of real estate. These assets have real tangible value and become part of the partnership's capital.
And what if your superpower isn't your bank account, but your brain or your skills or your connections? The law totally recognizes this. You can be what's called an industrial partner, contributing your expertise, your labor, your sweat equity. And that contribution is just as vital.
But here's where it gets really serious. What if someone makes a promise and then doesn't deliver? The playbook has some pretty heavy consequences for this. If you promise to contribute cash and you're late, you don't just owe the original amount. The law says you actually become a debtor to the partnership for that money, plus interest and any damages your delay caused. It is a very serious commitment.
All right, so everyone's anteed up. They've put their contributions on the table. Now for the exciting part, and maybe the scary part. The whole point of a business is to make a profit, right? But it also comes with the risk of loss. So how do you keep score, and how are those stakes shared?
Now, if you don't sit down and spell out exactly how you're going to split things in an agreement, the law has a default setting. It's pretty simple. Profits and losses are divided in proportion to what each partner put in. So the more you contribute, the bigger your slice of the pie, whether that pie is a big win or a big loss.
And this next one, this is a biggie. It's like a foundational, unbreakable rule of the entire game. And the law, as you can see from this quote, is crystal clear and super powerful about it. You just cannot create an agreement where one partner gets all the profits but takes zero risks, or another one bears all the losses but gets none of the reward. This rule gets to the very soul of what a partnership is.
Let's boil that down. What does that really mean? It means your fates are tied together. Simple as that. Any attempt to completely shield one partner from the financial outcome, good or bad, is just legally void. It won't hold up. Everyone has to be in it together.
Okay, we've talked about money, we've talked about risk, but who's actually steering the ship? Who's calling the plays day to day? Management can be set up in a few different ways, and it is absolutely vital to know which model your team is running.
So the playbook gives you a few options here. You could put one person in charge, like a head coach. Super efficient, right? But what if you disagree with their calls? Or you could have a committee of managers who vote on things, more democratic. You could even require that everyone agrees on a decision, which is safe but can be really, really slow. And what if you don't specify anything at all? Well, the law's default is that you are all managers and everybody can act on behalf of the business, which, let's be honest, can get chaotic real fast if you're not careful.
All right, moving beyond just who's in charge, there's a code of conduct, a set of unspoken rules, except they are spoken, right here in the law. These are the fundamental duties and rights that are all about building trust, transparency, and loyalty within the team.
And a huge part of that code is loyalty. But check this out.
The rules are different depending on what you contribute. If you're an industrial partner, the one contributing your skills and time, your entire professional focus is owed to the partnership. You can't run any other business on the side. But if you're a capitalist partner, you have a little more freedom. You just can't compete directly by starting a similar business.
But it's not all about what you have to do. It's also about what you're entitled to. These are your non-negotiable rights as a partner. Every single partner has the right to see the books, to get straight, honest answers about the business, and to get paid back for legitimate expenses you cover for the company. These rights are fundamental to a healthy partnership.
So what happens when things feel off? You know, you're getting a bad vibe or you feel like you're being kept in the dark. The playbook gives you a trump card, the right to demand a formal accounting of the business. But as you can see, this isn't a right you can just throw around whenever. It's triggered by very specific situations, like being unfairly pushed out or suspecting a partner is secretly pocketing cash, or basically, whenever a judge would look at the situation and say, yeah, a full financial breakdown here is fair and reasonable.
So there you have it, the core plays from the partnership playbook. These rules provide structure, they provide fairness, and they give you a path to work through disagreements. Knowing them isn't just about avoiding a legal headache down the road, it's about building a stronger, more resilient team from the start. The playbook is written. The real question is, are you and your partner ready to run the plays?